Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me to join you here today, and I'd like to start by thanking the AmCham for this opportunity, especially Anis, Aklimandos, Omar Mohana, and Hisham Fahmi, of course, who did all three come over shortly after I arrived here in Egypt and greeted me and gave me a lot of very good advice, and I appreciate that very much. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce some of my embassy colleagues here today, if they'd raise their hands. Deputy Chief of Mission Tom Goldberger, right over there. USAID Director Sherry Carlin. Political Counselor David Rance. Public Affairs Counselor Adnan Siddiqui. Consul General Sean Murphy. Sean here. He's gone back to handle visas, or he's afraid you're going to approach him about visas, one of the two. But anyway, Senior Commercial Officer Ann Basher, Ann's over there, and Economic Counselor Bill Weinstein. Bill's an interesting fellow. Economics was characterized by Thomas Carlyle in Victorian England as the dismal science. In fact, he called it dreary, desolate, and indeed quite abject and distressing. So if any of you are ever feeling that you're too happy, that life is going too well for you, talk to Bill for a little bit and you'll be cured. I'd also like to recognize one of my other colleagues, Conrad Tursky, one of our younger, more talented, new generation, upgraded Foreign Service officers who put a lot of work into my remarks today. And let me assure you, despite Conrad Tursky sounding vaguely Marxist, he is in fact very much free marketer and capitalist. What I hope to do today is to chalk out an approximate, very approximate, assessment of where we are in our bilateral economic relationship and how that dynamic fits into the larger picture of Egyptian and regional economic prosperity and stability. Given the breadth of our bilateral relationship, I'm not going to discuss all that the U.S. is doing with Egypt. Just highlight a few things. First, when we look around the region, it's hard not to focus on the growing conflicts and rivalries. Groups with extremist ideologies, from Boko Haram in Nigeria to Islamic State affiliates in Sinai, Libya, Iraq, and Syria, are wreaking enslavement, death, and destruction. Ultimately, success in the battle against extremism depends on the success of countries like Egypt, countries that have institutions. Time and again, the people of the Middle East have rejected the extremist vision of how to order their society in preference for an alternative that meets their hopes and needs. Egypt, of course, has the importance and potential to play a critical leading role in combating extremism, defeating terrorism, and offering an alternative model for the people of the region. Egypt has deep capacity, a long and storied history, strong institutions, a tradition of civil society, and is home to a quarter of the population of the Arab world. Egypt stands at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and Europe, and is also home to the Suez Canal, connecting east and west and safeguarding trade around the world for over a century. Egyptian television, cinema, film, literature have inspired cultural and political trends from Morocco to the Gulf and beyond. And as host to and leader of the Arab League, Egypt has played a tremendous role in supporting diplomatic cooperation around this region. In short, the Egyptian people have the experience, talent, and energy to create a new model for long-term stability in Egypt and beyond. Forging the economic component of a successful new model will require addressing significant challenges facing emerging economies around the world, including Egypt's economy. I want to focus on 5 such challenges. The first is rapid population growth. Here in Egypt, at the current growth rate, the population would double in less than 30 years. That's 180 million people. Population growth, of course, can strain a country's natural resources, infrastructure, energy, supplies, environment, and social services. And I emphasize can, doesn't necessarily have to.